What's going on, guys? Here are the colors we're going to be using today. We got white, cobalt blue, black, aqua green, and deep magenta. These are all by Artist Loft. You can get at Michael's. You can use whatever paint you got, but I just want to show you guys what I'm using today. This is going to be the biggest flat brush, the medium flat brush, a small flat brush, a fan brush, a round brush, and then a smaller round brush. And those are only brushes we'll be using: shop towel, water cup, palette paper, and 11 by 14 canvas. All right, so let's jump into it. So first things first, I'm gonna get my big flat brush here, and I'm just gonna get some magenta, white, gonna get like a light pink, maybe not that light, maybe a little darker. Whenever I put too much white, I kind of like to wipe off my brush here and then start a new pile. There we go. That's the color I'm looking for. We're gonna add in where we want the sky. So I'm gonna put my sky like right about here. Maybe a little lower. Maybe a little lower than halfway. Okay. And this is just, we're just mapping out right now. We're not committing to anything. So, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna make some different colors, okay? So I got this pink going already, so we're gonna make some purple now. I'm gonna grab, let's see, let's grab the, so we made the pink. Let's go ahead and grab our medium brush, and I'm gonna grab blue. I'm gonna grab a touch of white, and let's throw in some magenta too. It's gonna make like a purple. Just a touch of white, it wasn't much. About half and half of blue and magenta. Yep, that's the color there. Perfect. Okay, we're gonna grab the small flat brush, and I'm gonna grab, let's grab turquoise, or sorry, aqua, and let's throw in a touch of white in there. All right, so now that we're ready, because acrylic paint dries so fast that you just kind of have to, you know, start going. So here we go. So I'm gonna go ahead and dip in about halfway my brush into the water cup, mix it in my paint. We're gonna pull upwards. Okay, pulling up. So I'm like flicking like a check mark. We're gonna come over here. I'm gonna pull it up like right about there. I'll go up a little higher right here. When I'm flicking down, I'm really flicking lightly. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna grab more of that magenta, and I'm gonna start pulling a little more down. Let's go ahead and clean that. I didn't realize on how strong, or not strong, that magenta is. Usually magenta is pretty strong, but guess not this one. I haven't really used this magenta before. Okay, so let's go ahead and throw in magenta right here. We're just throwing in different shades here. And then again, as I'm flicking down, it's really lightening up my pressure. Okay. So we want to go as straight as possible, unless you want to go like at a slight angle with your northern lights, but these ones, maybe we can do like a curve right here somewhere if you wanted to. But usually they're like straight up when I paint them. Okay, now we're gonna go in and we're gonna just put that down. We're gonna get that purple. We're gonna do that same thing, and we're just gonna lightly, I'm just lightly pressing. So when I'm flicking into the pink, I'm just lightly flicking. Okay. I'm gonna pull this down a little more. Okay. I'm gonna go back in with that lighter pink. Go over here. Just re-wetting the area. It's kind of drying up on me here quickly. Alright, so now we're gonna go ahead and grab this color here, this blue, that magenta. We're gonna go ahead and add black to this. Okay, and this one we gotta be a little more careful because black is a little more powerful than those colors we were previously using. And the key, I would say, is just lightly pulling into the paint. No pressure at all. Okay, I'm gonna come over here. This is gonna be like the darkest area I want. This corner over here. Okay. I'm gonna pull down right about here. And then from right here, I'm gonna start shifting. Again, hold on, let me go ahead and finish up blending all the way to the purple. Again, we wanna kind of re-wet this. Acrylic paint dries so fast, you just gotta make sure that it's wet when you want it. Okay. Alright, so I'm gonna wipe off the excess here. I'm gonna get blue. It's still gonna have that black on there, but it's gonna be a blue-black now. Whoops. Okay, alright, now I'm gonna again wipe off the excess. Make sure you don't have a lot of paint for this step because it can get really messy. Okay, we're gonna lightly go in the pink with this color. You can even go in with the pink going up. Okay. This is what we want to avoid right here. You see how I brought that in a little too far in? It's okay. I'm going to show you guys how to fix that if that's what happens. I'm going to make sure I wipe off my brush. So, what I would do, I'm going to get a piece of napkin, grab a little bit of water, just a touch, you know, just dampen it. And I'm going to pull upwards with the napkin, just real lightly. It's going to reactivate the paint and take it off of what just happened. It may look like that, but that's okay because we have that pink still. I'm just going to go back in. It's all good now. Didn't fix it 100%, but good enough. So here, it's like pretty dry over here. So I'm gonna grab more of that magenta. I'm just gonna, this is all a layering game. Layering. And this magenta is so transparent that it'll just kind of go on top. So I could see that it's lifting. My paint is starting to lift because maybe I didn't give it enough time to dry. So I'm just gonna stop. I'm gonna leave that alone and we're gonna come back to it. But while we're here, we're gonna go ahead and again, we're gonna go ahead and map out where we want our river. So I want the river to start here and end over here. So I'm gonna pull this out. It's gonna almost go into almost nothing. So whenever you're making a river, you always kind of want to make it to where the biggest area, right? This is going smaller and smaller and smaller. It's never going to be the same. I see that a lot when I teach my classes in person. People always make it the same size. You want to get smaller and smaller and smaller into almost nothing. I might make this a little bigger here. Okay. Perfect. I like that. Okay. So while we're here and have this color and we're waiting for this to all dry, what we're going to do is we're going to get that light pink. And we're just going to, since we have our river in, we're just going to pull down. This is going to be the reflection. And we want to avoid, you know, going over here in the snow at all costs, but it happens, it's all good. The good thing about acrylic paint is you can just go right over it. Just let it dry, and you can go over it when it dries. Okay, like that. I'm gonna bring this down a little more. Wipe off the excess. I'm going to grab the darker magenta. And I'm going to just go in the corners of this. Again, just kind of, if you put a harsh line in there and you're trying to get rid of it, you can always brush stroke it out of going all the way up. So I'm just going in between the lighter areas. Alright, I don't want my paint to dry on my paint here, so let's go ahead and come back to this over here. So I like this. This is pretty dry here. This is still kind of wet, so I'm just gonna kind of tiptoe around here. So let's go ahead and grab this. Actually, let's go ahead and finish up the water with this color. So let's grab the blue. Let's go ahead and grab some black. Not much. Okay, it's like a blue-black. And we're gonna do the same thing. So we're just reflecting what we already got going on. Towards the corners though, I do want it to be darker. So I'm gonna go ahead and put in a little more black on the corners. Okay, again, I'm pulling all the way down once I'm done with the brush stroke. And then again, we're going to do the same thing when we're meeting it. We're just going to lightly press, lightly glide our brush. Not over blend here. This is going to be a reflection of some trees. If you're not comfortable with this brush, you can always switch to a smaller brush. Okay. Again, you want everything to be going straight in the water. It's going to look a little weird if you don't just go up and down. So make sure you're paying attention to that. I'm going to go all the way up to where my pink is. Again, a little bit of water to make it flow. not much though. Okay, right here, again, I'm gonna do the same thing. I like to kind of go into my painting like this to have a little more control at the bottom. Okay, let's go ahead and put some shadows over here. We probably might go in later with some shadows, but my paint is still not dry up here, so I'm just gonna keep working this until it is. Okay, this is another tree that's gonna be reflected right here. I'm gonna throw that in the water for a sec. I'm gonna come back with this darker magenta. Again, going kind of in between the darker areas of the black, transitioning to the light pink. It's almost like a transitional color. Again, try to go as straight as possible. Like this line here wasn't as straight as I could have. Okay. Again, I'm gonna come over here. I like it. Picasso, I like it. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and clean that off. I think we're good for now. Let's go ahead and clean off that brush. Just want to make sure I get all that black out. If I did get any black or blue in it. Okay. So let's go back into here and work some areas. So this is probably going to need a second coat, at least mine. You know, I am using cheaper student grade paint, but I want to just show you guys that it is possible. You just probably need to just do multiple layers, and it is possible to have a beautiful painting even if you are using some cheaper. Like this whole entire bottle right here is 10 bucks at Michael's, and you can even get it cheaper if you get it on sale. So anyways, I have my round brush right here, and I am going to dip it in water about the whole way and make sure I'm rolling it in there. So this is a really light pink color. So what I am going to do, I know I said I was going to go back up there, but I can't help it. Just kind of, it's like when I start an area, I almost want to finish that area, and it's a bad habit. Maybe I should wait till the highlights to the end so it can all come together in the end. I'm just going to go ahead and go in with the light pink. But not much, like mainly in the middle because I want people's eye to go into here. And we're also going to be coming over here. And again, following, again, water. Okay. And we're going to go ahead and lightly, again, I'm lightly flicking, okay? Like there's like not much pressure going on here. And I am going to go up a little higher in this section. And then kind of lightly fade it out. And then over here. Sorry if you can hear my dog panting. She's taking a good nap. So I'm going to go back in. I'm going to go ahead and add a little more of that magenta color in. And we're going to go ahead and kind of go back in and blend it in almost. See how I'm going the opposite way now? Kind of pulling that in. Okay. Awesome. This is all about building layers, building, building, building. If you don't like your painting yet, don't judge it yet, okay? I'm just making sure that this is staying active. I know I haven't forgot about it. I just added some water and kind of remixed it. Alright, I'm going to grab my medium brush again. And again, I'm going to go into that magenta. Remember, I was trying to do this earlier and it wasn't letting me do it. So now we're going to do the same thing. Make sure your brush is really dry because this magenta, for whatever reason, when it has too much water, it kind of acts up a little bit. So I'm glad that you guys were able to see me fix multiple mistakes so far. Like, just because I've been painting for, I don't know what, like 8, 9 years, something like that, doesn't mean I have it all together. I'm just a girl who loves painting, and I like teaching it too. So I'm glad you guys were able to see that. I don't paint these paintings before, I kind of just figure it out as I go. Alright, I like that, I like that. Again, I'm going to go in another transitional color here. Make sure, you know, like something like the middle tone that we had previously. Kind of push it up. Reblend it, especially this area. Remember how I kind of messed up and brought that blue in there? Okay, I'll go a little more white. I'm just kind of doing the same thing over and over and over again until I get what I like. Till I'm satisfied with those results. Normally I don't get to do this in my class because my class is a limited time. It's 2 hours long. And it's a lot more strict. But here, I can just keep working and working, and you guys could see me do this in real time. Well, not real time, you know what I mean? Like, of me not being happy, and then just keep working it, and then you could see how I fix my problems and in painting anyways. Alright, perfect. Alright. I like that. I like what I got going on with the pink. I'm gonna go ahead and clean this off. And I'm going to start going in, again, kind of like the same process that we did above. Again, make sure your brush is pretty dry. I mean, it's still kind of wet, but, alright, here we go. Alright, let's get blue and some of that magenta. And again, lightly flicking. There we go. I'm going to get a little more of that magenta. Looks a little on the blue side. There we go. I need to put more magenta on my palette here. Again, just flicking it downwards. Getting a little more magenta because this looked a little too overpowering here. There we go, like that. the same thing over here. Northern Lights are hard, especially with acrylic. I mean, but the key is to respect the boundaries of not going too far in and transitioning your colors very slowly too. Because you can see here, I went a little aggressive. Now I have to kind of either go farther in or just respect that boundary and just be like, okay, I'm gonna leave that alone there. Okay. I kind of like this. I like this area here, so I'm gonna leave that. And then I'm gonna go back in and grab more black. Again, I want the top to be like the darkest area here, especially this area. Okay, and then right about here, again, respecting that boundary, not going too close. I'll wipe off my paintbrush. I'm gonna go back in with that color. You know, something similar, maybe it's something a little darker, and I'm just gonna pull that paint in. That paint that's already existing there. And I'm just gonna use that existing paint to pull in. And I grabbed the magenta and the blue. And be careful again. Try not to go ham sandwich with that. Alright. And then again, if you don't like this, like, I can see like it's a slightly harsh line, but if you don't want that, just let it dry. And then you can go back in like with the blue and the magenta and then go back in and rework it and do the same thing again. And if you don't like this harsh line again, just let it dry, go back in probably with this pink. But we're gonna keep pushing forward, okay? I should have washed my brush now that I'm thinking about it, because I'm gonna use a little bit of black and blue. Again, going back in and getting the corners a little darker and adding, see how it's like blue and bluish black? When you do it the second coat, it's gonna look a little darker, and also you could add depth by kind of leaving some areas of that blue previously. Like I'm gonna leave this bottom here, and I'm gonna slide in, and I'm just gonna kind of pull out here. Again, using that that blue and that black as almost like a transitional color. And I'm gonna pull it over here. And the reason why we're pulling it in so far in right here is because shadows are a real thing. We gotta make sure we put in all our shadows. So if the light's hitting and there's sun or there's snow on top of here and it's hitting downwards, that means there's gonna be a shadow and it's casting a shadow. So that's why we are putting those in. Again, getting a little more black, putting in this tree that's gonna be right here. Again, not covering up all our blue. Did I say we were done with this? I don't know. Like I said, you guys get to see how I work at painting in real time. I notice whenever I put out an artwork, like my own personal piece, they're like, when are you going to teach this? I'm like, probably not going to, teach something that I've been working on for 20 hours, but, this was the best next idea that I had. So teach some more complex paintings that I have no necessarily time limit. I'm just painting and having a good time. All right, so I'm gonna wait for this to dry. We are gonna come back to this, but for now, while it's drying, we're gonna go ahead and work some snow in. So let's go ahead and clean off our brush. I know, I thought I was a genius preparing this, but it's still dry or still drying. So let's go ahead and if you want, you can just throw that in the water if you want. I'm just gonna leave it and wait for this to dry. It's almost dry. So let's go ahead and do the snow. I'm gonna grab my medium brush here, and we're gonna grab white. Actually, I'm trying to think. Maybe we can use this small flat brush. Yeah, we'll use this. So let's go ahead and grab mainly white and some of that color. Again, you see how I made two separate piles here because I didn't want. When I need more turquoise, I'm just gonna bring this turquoise in. And I'm gonna throw in some blue. Yep, looks good. Again, we want to make sure we have enough white in here because we're going on top of that, of what we just did. Make sure your black is dry because, you know, this color, we want to make sure we go all the way down here. I wanted the river to get covered up a little bit, that's why I kind of pulled it in a little further in. So I do want to go, obviously we're gonna go in with trees and stuff, but I do, and I also want to go in with like another color right now. On top of this, while it's still wet. Again, I'm gonna go ahead and add a touch of water if it's getting a little dry on me. Okay, so right about there, I am going to switch over and I'm going to grab more blue. I'm going to grab, actually let's just do a touch more blue for now. I'm going to go ahead and pull in the blue. I'm not going to go too far in, just real light pressure. I'm not going to go over here, just where I think there will be like shadows going on. So there's going to be like trees right here, so there's going to be some trees. I'm going to go ahead and put this over here. So trees will make that shadow. I'm kind of like doing like a C motion. Kind of like as like, there's like something under the snow. Or like footsteps or little rocks and underneath the snow. Some depth. Okay. This looks a little too bright for this, so I'm gonna go ahead and mute it down and adding a touch of black in there. Like barely. I went a little too heavy there. We're gonna go ahead and go in right here. Again, there's gonna be some trees right here, so this is gonna be almost covered up right here. But I'm gonna bring this down. Kind of a little scary, but that black, make sure you don't go so dark. It's real light. It's like a gray, blue. I'm gonna come over here. Again, I don't want this to be like so bright. I feel like this is like too bright almost. So that's why we're like muting it down right now. Just want to bring the eye, don't like overwhelm the viewer with like so much light here. It's like kind of hard to look at. Just kind of want to mute it down a little bit, that's all. I'm just bringing it in, kind of sweeping like a dot, dot, dot. Like someone was fishing in these waters, ice fishing. Oh no, this water is still, nope, not ice. Sorry, that was, oh, my jokes. Okay, sorry. Okay, let's pretend that didn't happen. All right, let's keep going. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna just, again, we're just still going in with this color. Oops, I went too far in. Watch this. Got it back. Again, this is the bottom, so there is the bottom of like that hill, so I'm gonna go ahead and add, and then I'm gonna go ahead and add in a little more shadow down here. So again, we don't want it to be like overwhelmingly bright, so we're just doing like almost this section here, that's it. And everything is kind of muted. Okay. So we do got trees to do, but, and I do want to go darker. So I am going to go darker right now. Well, I think this is almost dry. By the time I get done with this, it'll be dry, my paint up there. And this is just more blue, more black, less white. And I am starting to go in. It's just, you see, like it's a progression of getting darker and darker. Instead of going so dark and you're like, whoa, that was way too dark. I'm gonna wipe that off. I'm gonna get a little more blue. Whoops. A little more blue. I'm just adding in, you know, some more colors, some more depth. Again, I'm gonna add in the shadow on this snow here. All right. Alright. Try not to get lost in all the details. I know how hard it is. Okay. So we're gonna go ahead and stop right there. And I kind of wiped off my brush, and then with the access paint, I kind of just pulled it around. That's what I was doing. Sorry. Try not to get caught up. I'm just painting. Trying my best to explain here what I'm doing. Alright. Like it. Picasso, I like it. All right, we're gonna clean all this up, you know, eventually. But let's go back up here and let's get that same color we had going, which is that aqua color. Let's just do, let's see what aqua just looks like. So these are gonna have to be a little more dedicated, and you're gonna flick up. So go ahead and practice on your paper towel or your palette and kind of like flick upwards. And just practice letting go of that brush. So I'm gonna have one here. Just, it's almost like a dry brush technique. When you don't have much paint, I'm just kind of flicking it. Okay. I'm gonna go, man, this, I'm not gonna lie, this is a little scurry. All that work. So I think I'm just gonna ignore that little fix there. I'm gonna go. Okay. Okay. Keep going up. Again, practicing that flick. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to wipe off mainly a lot of that paint, right, on my paper towel, probably even more. I'm going to go just lightly pulling the residue on my paintbrush. It's not super visible, but okay. Again, we're going to keep going. I'm going to pull this up. Put as little as much as this as you like. Again, just real lightly, okay? Real light. Just building up upon those layers that I've already established. Alright, I'm going to do one more bigger one. And this one's going to be going like right here. Just kind of rubbing my finger underneath, kind of pulling that. Just going in with like a second layer on some areas that I want it to like pop out a little more. And what you can do is, let me go ahead and, so let me kind of end this here. Okay. Awesome. Something like that, right? And then what you're going to do is you're going to grab some white, some of this color here. And what we're going to do is we're going to kind of do the same thing that we've been doing. Just add a little highlight in there. At this point, you guys should be pros at this. Absolute pros. I'm just joking. Alright. I'm saying that because I know this is a little hard of a task that I'm asking you guys to do. But what I can ask is, don't compare my painting to yours. Don't compare, not to say that my painting is better or anything like that, but what I'm trying to say is don't compare your painting. Don't compare your painting to mine, or even what they even are supposed to look like, right? That's like a joke I always get in my class. So, oh, this is what it's supposed to look like. But you know what I say is, once you're all done, don't tell nobody you followed this tutorial. I just think you're freaking amazing. And they're like, wow, you painted that? Yeah, yep, I painted that. Trust me, people are easily amazed at the artwork you get. Trust me. Most people are like, I can't even draw a stick figure. I always get that one too. But look at you. Look at you doing the Northern Lights. Alright. I think it's time to... I just went back in with the, what's called, the turquoise. But I think it is time to do some trees now. And finish this painting off with a bang. So again, remember how I told you I could show you really fast? I know this is what I can't do in my class, to show you these things. Remember how I told you you can transition this color back so if you want to. You can even always go on top of this, kind of make it blend in. This is like a glaze. They call this a glaze because it's very watery paint here and not much paint on my brush. Anyways, alright, getting carried away. Alright, onward. Just wanted to show you guys that. Okay. And you can also, I know I just said, I'm like, onward. I'm like, wait, let's go back. Oh, my brain. It's like, let's make it perfect. I have to fight all the same things. This is pure blue with the small flat brush. And this is just watered down paint again. Not super watery, but I don't have a lot of paint on my brush. Like, you know, all I did was kind of wipe it off. And then lightly feathering. This is usually what people have a problem with teaching for about 5 years, is that people have heavy hands. Like, they really, like, I'm not going to say they don't understand how light it is, but, like, I guess that's the best way to describe it, is that, like, they truly don't understand how light of pressure all you need. Because the pigment is going to do the work, right? The pigment of your brush. Just going crazy now. I just went ham sandwich. Oops. Okay. We should add some back into that pink, that purple, I mean, with the blue and the magenta. I know I keep on going on bunny trails, huh? This is how I paint, I'm not gonna lie. Keep going on bunny trails. Alright. I just want to kind of blend it in a little more on what it was supposed to look like up here. Okay, or what was going on over here. So before we go in, we're going to get this pure white, almost pure white. We're going to go in and put a little bit, and we're going to do the final, final countdown. Just a final highlight that we want to add. Again, not much of this, just here and there, like mainly here in this section. And then you can add a little more to your water, reflect it. Alright, now what we're going to do is we're going to get water, we're going to get that white paint, we're going to make like a milky consistency. A little more, there we go. I'm going to go like this into my painting. And it's going to make some stars for us. Mainly in the black area, you know. Like the darker areas. Not too much on the northern lights. Oh. Sorry, I kind of bumped you guys a little bit. Yeah, not much. Put a little more here. May take a little bit to get the right consistency, but I would say it's like a little thicker than milk consistency for sure. And then if you don't want it on here, you can kind of rub it out. But I'm just gonna leave it. Yeah, it kind of like pushes the northern lights back right here. Maybe I'll kind of have to do it right away or it'll dry up on you. Okay. Alright. Now, an hour has passed and we're ready to go to the trees. Alright, let's do the trees now. I am going to grab my fan brush. I'll show you guys on how to do it both ways. So this is my fan. You can do it really either way, but let's go ahead and do the base really fast. So again, we're gonna make sure this is, again, you don't have to do it with this brush. I showed you guys kind of how to do it with this. This was just black and blue, but like a dark blue now. Here we go, I added a little more black to it. And again, this is just like the base of where we're gonna start our trees. I'm kind of prepared for it, remember? Okay. Perfection. Okay. And we are going to grab more black, more blue. And I'm going to go back and forth, going back and forth. And I'm going to do, let's do a tree right here. See how I'm using the whole body of the brush here? I'm going to go as light as possible at the top, like make it as wispy as possible. I'm going to give it a friend here. Right there, perfect. I'm going to show you how to do it right here. Okay. I just wanted to give you some more space so you guys can see a full tree. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the corner of my brush here, just the corner for now. And I'm going to leave the top alone. Please leave the top alone and just light, and then go a little more and more pressure as I go down. As I go down, I'm applying a little more pressure, a little more pressure. The bottom really doesn't matter because it's it's just gonna get all squished in together. The top is really what you want to stress. I would say please practice on the back of your painting before. That's what I usually do. I make everyone like practice before you do it. But there's so many different ways to do trees. I mean, just the possibilities are really endless on how to do trees here. Like, that's a little too small. Looks a little too small for the area. There we go. Looks a little better. So I showed you how to do it with the fan. I'm going to show you guys on how to do it with my flat brush here. Again, going in with that line. And then kind of using the corner of my brush, doing the same thing. And then putting more and more pressure, going almost straighter as I go down, using the whole body of the brush. A little more paint. I feel like the fan brush gives it a little more organic feel. But if you don't have a fan brush, I mean the small flat got you, okay? I just think the fan brush is like way faster and more organic personally. So I'm just gonna roll with this. So I don't want to go too high up here because I don't want to cover up the hour of work I just put in, into this. So we're just gonna go a little lower and then go up higher over here in this section. So I'm gonna first do these big ones over here, and a big one here. And I'll stop talking and let you guys get these trees in. My dog is straight taking a nap. Like, she's knocked out. We're kind of like a package deal. So hopefully you guys accept me for this. Getting kind of hard to do smaller ones right here, I'm not gonna lie. With this big full fan brush. So I think I'm gonna switch over to a different method now. So I'm gonna go ahead and wipe off my paintbrush. I'm gonna get blue. This is like I kind of still had I did still have black on my brush, but I'm gonna get a little more blue, kind of give it that feel that there's like smokiness at the bottom. Oops, a little too much paint there. And we're just gonna pull this up here. Okay, kind of blend it in that blue upwards. And what I was trying to say is over here, I'm gonna go ahead and grab more of the black now. And we're gonna pull in. I'm just gonna pull down. And pull down that black into that blue. I'm grabbing some water. Whenever I feel like my paint's not flowing, just grabbing a little more water. All right. We did something. Definitely did something. I'm gonna grab my smallest round brush, my smallest little liner. Actually, yeah. And I am going to go ahead and grab some white and a touch of that turquoise. We're gonna add some highlight to the snow, just a little bit. Again, not too much. Like almost like, again, like there's like maybe someone went fishing right here. And then the highlight is like hitting it now. Not too much again, just a little bit. Oops. Kind of just pulled it a little bit to blend it in the bottom. Blend in the bottom a little bit. Perfect. And what we're gonna do is we're just gonna kind of wipe that off. We're gonna get that blue, black mixture. Get some water. Get some water. I'm gonna put in a little bit of a bush. Yana, wake up. Yana, you're having a bad dream, Yana. Wake up. Sorry. She's over there, almost borderline barking in her dream. So whenever your paint's breaking, just go ahead and add more paint, reload, reset, go back to it. I'm just adding some like little twigs, some dead bushes here. Real light pressure. Just real light. I'm also gonna grab some black, a little bit more blue, a little more paint on my brush. We're gonna go in and really establish where that water is starting. If you want to like put like a rock in here, I'll show you how to do that. Watch, show you. I'll clean off my small flat brush. Grab some white, some turquoise, and just put in a rock. Shoop. You can even do it with your round brush. Your larger round anyways. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna make sure it has a shadow underneath it. Even though it's kind of like already in the shadow, just gonna make sure. Just going in with that turquoise. The bottom went a little too much water here. All right. And if you really, really wanted to, I know, I can just keep going on, can't I? My fan brush and some blue. Just real light and just going do do do. Oh wait, let me like break up the bristles a little more. Just kind of go do do do. That's only if you want to. Give it a little more flavor. Maybe you liked it before, maybe you didn't. I don't know. I think I may have liked it before, but I already did it. So I already committed, so it's all good. So that concludes this painting. Hopefully you guys liked it. It was fun. What was that? Maybe like about an hour and 30 minutes long. That was good. And hopefully you guys learned something. And hopefully you enjoyed that. And again, look at it tomorrow with some fresh eyes. If you don't like it tonight, you can always add some snow if you want to. You know, the possibilities are endless, really. But yeah, that's it for me. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys next time.